Talk about a crazy day. We've got wild stories plus your questions. So let's get started. Screw your freedom.
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. It is the first Q&A and monologue of the week. And I tell you, I'm still kind of dragging tail from last night's zoo, but still, there's no time for rest. Not on a Monday afternoon, not when they're coming at us full speed ahead. Just what is happening now? That's the question I'm asking. Because how many, seriously folks, how many mic drop moments do we need to have? Literally, folks, every day we point out what they're doing, why it's wrong, how it's unethical, why it's dangerous, exactly where this is all going, and they don't quit. They're marching in lockstep. That's what these clowns do. They're putting their heads down, folks, and they're coming right at us. We've got to be ready for them. We have to be fully prepared. Unbelievable. Folks, right now at the World Economic Forum in Davos, right? Davos, Switzerland, they're having a meeting. Klaus Schwab, a bunch of rhino Republicans, Democrats from our country, even some Republican governor is there. Unbelievable. And the Aussie commissioner on speech, right, says this: freedom of speech needs recalibration. Now, thankfully, the entire world is aware and we're watching. As stated, we're the ones having mic drop moments on them. We're catching them being un-American or anti-freedom or totalitarian scumbags. We're catching them. But they seem to think what they're saying is fine. Recalibrate free speech. Unbelievable, right? This Aussie commissioner, folks, is at Davos. She is the e-safety commissioner, Julie Inman, and she's done a lot more than raise a few eyebrows, right? She says that the world needs to be free from online violence. Oh, when she says online violence, does she mean, is she talking about the leftist socialist scum that stalk free people, dox them, harass them, get them fired, ruin their lives? Is that what she means about online violence? Her little street hackers and stooges ruining lives and businesses by harassing people at their homes, their websites, their work, destroying their property. Folks, these hypocrites want us silent. And for them to be the only speakers. And they're pushing it. Their hypocrisy is outrageous. And they're right out in front with everybody, folks. And we all see it. And what can we do at this point? These people won't quit. They won't stop. They won't give up. They're intentionally destroying everything. Intentionally trashing the world. But who's at fault, right? It's President Trump. He's the one who's at fault. Now, there is a liberal media freak out going on today, not over that commissioner in Australia who says we need to recalibrate free speech. I've got a couple of things she can recalibrate, but the media's not freaking out over her. They're freaking out over Trump because he shared or retweeted what the El Salvadorian president said. You know, he said in his tweet, the enemy in America is within, that they're destroying America, that they're pushing our country to civil war. That's what other countries see, folks. That's what they see. Now, the left wants and they need to be shocked and triggered as often as possible. So Trump basically, says, yeah, look what this other guy thinks of the Biden administration. And the media bites the bait, folks. And Biden is doing exactly as he's reported. He is doing all he can to destroy freedoms and institutions here. And Kaz, the fourth dimension, did some great shorts. He's been doing some great shorts. We were doing YouTube shorts a while back. He's just hitting it out of the ballpark, pointing out exactly what these people are doing. And they're doing it intentionally. Being a doddering old fool, having dementia is no excuse. Right? And folks, when this is fixed, and you and I, all of America that are patriotic, we can fix this. And when it's fixed, America better not forget what caused this, what the best cure for the problem is, and who the bad guys are. It is, I am hot, pissed off. And I'm not dangerous, and I'm not threatening anyone. And this isn't a call to arms or violence, unlike the left, which gets away with that. Unfreaking believable what they get away with. Unbelievable. If you want to say something, if you have an opinion, F you, you're not allowed to be free. Well, unless you're a leftist, unless you're part of the World Economic Forum and the Democrat Socialist Party. HSBC has suspended their head of responsible investing, right? Hong Kong, right? Shanghai Banking Corporation, HSBC. He's suspended because he made a comment about a climate alarmist, called him a nut job. That's right. How dare you call a nut job a nut job? And that's what we're doing, folks. We're calling the pot black. We're calling the spade a spade. We're calling the snowflake white. We're calling the whatever it is. We're calling it like we see it now. Folks, the lunatics are actually running the asylum. And we're paying the bill for it. We're getting the blame for it. It's all our fault. Sorry for living. No, I'm not sorry for living. These people are intentionally jacking the system up, folks. Just what is happening now? Oh, you're gonna shit. Are you ready? Put on your seatbelt. Click-a-loo, right? These people are incredible. They want to say we're the radicals, we're the extremists, we're the bad guys. All we want is our Constitution, the law, to be obeyed. We want law and order on the street, peace, equality, justice. That's all we want. But we're the extremists.
Because this MAGA crowd is really the most extreme political organization that's existed in American history.
What the hell is this guy talking about? Unbelievable. I'm going to take you over to Davos, right? Guess what they're talking about there? Unfreaking believable. Oh, by the way, get your questions into Jolene because I get the first half hour. The second half hour is you guys and your questions, Q&A. You're live on Patreon on The Prepared Mind. And over here, you get to ask questions daily, right? There is, folks, on YouTube, a super chat button, a super sticker button, a super thank you button. We've got a PayPal button. We got that. But on Patreon, you have subscribed for $2 a month. A lot of you, a little more. A few of you, a lot more, which is great. We need all the help we can get to keep the lights on in Studio A, Studio B, down in the bunker. Woo! Folks, I'm glad you're on this team right here. Get your questions in. Now, back at Davos again, the World Economic Forum. Folks, this is the basically, they put a smiley face on the Bilderbergs. All the political insiders, all the business insiders talking about how they want to change the world. They want to fundamentally change us. We need to recalibrate free speech. We need to get rid of guns. We need to make everyone pay a carbon tax. Oh, the climate change, that's a fraud, but we're going to go with it anyways. Here's what they said. Zelensky was invited, and this little turd shows up again, folks. Like I said, I'm not pro-Putin, I'm pro-freedom. Right? Russia's got its problems, but Russia isn't hurting me, folks. Zelensky, leader of Free Ukraine, is wearing a t-shirt. This guy is a clown. He's addressing the world's most powerful people, and he's playing the part of a clown. He's dressing as a pauper before them. And he wants the world to support him, folks. Are you ready for this? He wants the world to support him. Oh, and the little country of Ukraine that he's part of on a monthly basis. How much, you ask? He wants $5 billion a month from the world. Folks, I can tell you this. I don't think he's going to be able to control Ukraine. I guess maybe they'll have to import some voting machines for him to use to get reelected. You think the people of Ukraine don't know who has screwed their country up? Do you think the people of Ukraine don't see that he should have surrendered a long time ago? Once again, I talked to my Ukraine insider who's actually spent time there and in Russia, in Eastern Europe. And he said, look, Putin is not a great guy, right? If you want to look at things from an even-handed position. But Ukraine is full of Russians, and they're having some serious problems with Zelensky and the Azov battalion and the atrocities they committed. Whether you like Putin or not, folks, this is an ugly world. And it's ugly when it comes to these people pretending to be saints. $5 billion a month, $60 billion a year. Folks, Ukraine is rich in resources, mineral, means of production, natural gas, food. No. We need the world to give us $60 billion on top of the fact that they should be cash positive. Plus, okay, well, back to Davos. Now the UN says that the blockade by Putin is an act of war. So sanctions, blockades, confiscation of property and wealth of private Russian citizens, that's just fine, as long as the cool politicians are doing it. Folks, I don't think it'd be cute at all if what little I have left of my life, if the UN showed up and said, John, we're taking the rest of your shit because, you know, the good guys say it's fine. Right? And on top of everything else, Zelensky's remarks sought to push Europe and the whole world, led by the US. They want to implement a full embargo on Russian oil, bar Russian banks from the global systems, no exceptions, right? Because they want companies to abandon the Russian IT, that is technical sector, and ban everything Russia. But here's the deal, folks. There was a marvelous, marvelous piece done yesterday in an interview with Andy Schechtman of Miles Franklin, who does precious metals, and he laid it out. He laid it out very well. What Russia and China and the rest of the world are doing behind the scenes, while the World Economic Forum, Europe and America think they're going to win. They're losing half the world. They're losing like 2/3 of the world's population by doing this and making these sanctions. It's not going to help you and me, folks. It's going to hurt us all. And they're making us pay. I mean, get this, folks. Just what is happening now? Is this guy that stupid? Is he that stupid? I'm talking about Biden. Is he that stupid?
We're going to seize their yachts, their luxury homes, and other ill-begotten gains of Putin's kleptocracy. Kleptocracy. And the guys who are the kleptocracies.
He is that stupid, folks. He is a puppet. Now, Biden misspoke today. That's right, folks. He misspoke. He misspeaks. Sorry about that, everyone. Because he vowed to respond with military if China attacks Taiwan. Well, that almost sounds like the right thing to say to an ally like Taiwan. Hey, we're not going to let anyone invade you. Isn't that what NATO is about? Protecting every NATO country from awful anyone else, enemies, meaning Russia, right? But when it comes to Taiwan, the White House administration said, no. Putin, Biden was misspeaking, right? And it was the only thing that was stopping China from taking Taiwan, from invading Taiwan, was the risk of a U.S. retaliation militarily. Now, if you look at Ukraine, the U.S. does not respond militarily. What the U.S. does, along with its alliance, is they talk a bunch of shit, they punish financially, they punish monetarily, they punish with embargoes. That's what they do. That's what they do. They talk a bunch of shit, and then they punish with sanctions. They're a paper tiger, right? The only thing stopping China was the risk of a U.S. military retaliation. But Biden's cabinet came out and said, no, Biden, no. He misspoke. Really? I mean, Biden talks tough and then administration officials change his mind for him. That's right, folks. He misspoke. That's right. China is now wide open to move, knowing the world will not lift a finger. They will just whine a lot. Folks, the world is changing fast. Whatever is happening very fast. I now expect China to invade Taiwan in the next 2 months. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't invade in the next 2 weeks. They could really happen in the next 2 days. What bigger go signal than there than this? Every country in the world that can will trade with whoever gives them the best deal, the cheapest food, the best trading partner, the most advantageous countries to work with regard to technology and power, meaning electricity, gas, oil. Who controls the oil, folks? Russia is the #1 exporter to the rest of the world of natural gas. They're the #2 exporter of oil, I believe. And now the West is saying, yeah, we want to get rid of you all the way. It's okay. Russia's just going to sell it to India, to China. The rest of the Middle East countries, folks, they're in with Russia and China. The OPEC countries are more aligned and allied to China and Russia. And the rest of the world, folks, continents like, South Africa, all of Africa and South America, Australia, the Pacific Islands, like, Philippines, Sri Lanka, Indonesia. There's a lot, folks, a lot of countries that don't need Europe. They can get technological marvels from China. You see where this is going? They're literally destroying our economy here at home. We're feeling it. Inflation, promises of food shortages, promises of droughts, promises of forest fires, promises of letting everyone who wants in from Mexico in. Whose food are they going to eat? What money are they going to spend? Ours. Yeah, America's supposed to produce a lot of food and ship it to the world, right? To save the world and feed the world. We're going to have a funny time trying to feed the world when we can't even feed ourselves because of Biden. Unbelievable, folks. It's not funny. It's not a joke. I'm not exaggerating. This isn't fear porn. This is exactly what is happening now. And I want to get back to those scumbags, the Davos douches, right? Now, a news reporter, a journalist, someone who's supposed to report what's happening. They can cover the news whether they like it or don't like it. They're allowed to cover it. Well, Jack Posobiec and his crew were detained at gunpoint for an hour at the World Economic Forum, Davos, Switzerland. They were detained for an hour. I believe another film crew walked up and filmed them, refused to stop filming until they were released. The entire incident was also filmed by, I think, Jack's brother across the street. Now, the lessons are now taught. Folks, the uber wealthy know that they are a-holes of the highest order, and they don't care. They don't care what you think. They don't care about America and our rights and freedoms. All we are to them is human resources, natural resources, and a piggy bank. That's all we are to these people. We're a nuisance if we're not making them money. We're a nuisance if they don't get their way. The lesson has been taught. They don't care. They're going to say what they want now. And oh, by the way, our elected political leaders from the United States of America are over there right now sitting in and listening to all this trash like we need to recalibrate free speech. Sorry, the First Amendment doesn't have a recalibration clause in it. Neither does the Second. Right? These a-holes, folks, politicians and wealthy scumbags. It's Eurotrash and Ameritrash, folks. They have all the protection they think they need. These people holding machine guns, MP5s, on reporters who want to report what they're seeing. Right? These rich bastards have all the protection they think they need. And folks, they're going to be fair game later, and they know it. So they're going to hire all the private protection they can get. But wait until the security guards they've hired find out that their families have essentially been murdered by their bosses. Because, you know, Jim Jones juice. It's the good stuff. Ran into a friend of mine today who took, who got really, really sick, had a serious blood clot issue, and still is having months and months later serious problems. What do you think caused that? Just let it out, John. I really like this little transition. Goose stepping liberals. I found a new one we can all ban. We can all boycott. We can tell F you, right? You know this company, and like a good neighbor, you know what the words are. Well, there's a creepy neighbor out there called State Farm who is donating transgender books for kindergartners to schools in Florida. For real? Folks, they're out in the open with it. They want to groom children for this. Why? Right? Why does anyone, especially an insurance company, need to donate perverted material for children? Why? Why is this even illegal? If I went down to a school and handed out these books, I would be arrested. If I went down to the school and handed out the perverted shit they're teaching about sex and gender, I would be arrested for grooming or child pornography or whatever, right? Soliciting minors for sex. That's what would happen to you or me or any of us. Yet these leftists are out there in the open doing it. And down in Florida, over there, there's a new sheriff in town, right? Well, there's a couple of sheriffs. There's a governor. There's an attorney general. And I think that material has been, I think it's illegal in Florida, isn't it? I sure hope so. DeSantis, hello. Attorney General, hello. You know, attack. They're coming after kids, folks, like creepy neighbors. I read this and I'm like, what planet are we on? Just what is happening now? SHTF is happening now, folks. SHTF is happening now. We're generations in to this crap they're pushing on kids. Right? They started in college with colleges in the 60s and 70s. Then in the 80s and 90s, they brought it down into high school. And then since 2000, they brought it down into grade schools to the point where kids who used to say they wanted to be a princess or a cowboy, you know, they wanted to be a movie star, or they wanted to be an astronaut. And you're like, none of that's going to happen, kids. Sorry, it's not going to happen, right? But if you want to cut off your genitals, yeah, we'll set up the surgery for you. We'll get you the right drugs. It's like, what now? They understand what's going on in the world. They have no idea how the world works, folks. They have no idea. But we're going to let them do this to themselves because some teacher thinks it's a great idea. Now, there is no way, folks. You cannot just dismiss this shit. It's not a one-off. right? It's not that happened and we'll just let it slide. No, it's not. It's there. It's there. It's there. Get this, folks. A Jewish adherent is telling a Catholic clergyman what is right and what isn't with regard to his religion. And this is not a joke. It's not a Jewish adherent and a Catholic priest going to a bar. No. This is Whoopi Goldberg. She says, it's not your job, dude, for barring Nancy Pelosi from communion because she supports her radical abortion views. So Whoopi Goldberg, who I believe is Jewish, right? She's an adherent to the Jewish faith, whatever that means, because, I guess I'm not allowed to talk about anything, but she's allowed to talk about everyone else. She's allowed to make fun of and put down Republicans, free speech, the Second Amendment, anything she doesn't agree with. She can say whatever the hell she wants anytime. Apparently, she can tell a Catholic priest, it's not your job, dude. Yeah, it is. Who else is in charge of his church? There are rules out there. But for these people, folks, these leftists, they want no rules to apply to them. The same way this idiot in Davos says, well, we're going to have to recalibrate free speech. No one's allowed to talk except us because we're the super powerful. Unbelievable, folks. The world is aware, too. It's unbelievable. I mean, you should have food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, and means of self-defense. I'll talk a little more about all this, right, as we go. You better have it together. Everyone knows what's going on. Everyone feels the pain. In Japan, right? I mentioned Joe Biden and Taiwan and his stupid comments, and then the fact that his stupid comments became even stupider. Japanese people came out, folks, by the hundreds, not to cheer and wave American flags for Joe Biden. Folks, if you know anything about the Japanese culture, they're a rather quiet people. They're very reserved and respectful, right? There's a lot to Japan that I don't think the rest of the world still gets. They're serious about their Japanese culture and belief systems. But hundreds came out to protest Joe Biden and his visit. Unbelievable, folks. There were more people protesting Joe Biden in Japan than people that went to his rallies in America during the election time when there were more, right? Unbelievable. More people to protest in Japan than he has supporting him in America during the campaign. Right? He ate an ice cream, took selfies with U.S. troops, creeped on some more children. Unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. It's totally unbelievable what's happening. Breathe, John, right? Breathe. And when I mentioned being prepared, food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, and a plan, right? The one of the largest gun parts dealer that sells AR-15 kits, right, with an unfinished receiver, a ghost gun, right? They were told by the ATF, no more. You're not allowed to sell those. You're violating the law. Well, the gun parts dealer says, F you, and they're suing the ATF over, quote, secret and unannounced policy changes. Folks, if you haven't done it yet, you better do it ASAP. As soon as possible. You better get, and I'm not telling you to get a ghost gun. I'm telling you, go out, get an AR-15. The cheapest part of the whole project is the receiver. That is the part you have to get registered. One way or another, get it done. You can build it at home. You can buy one that's already built. No matter what, folks, it's time to get one. If you don't already, women, men, old, young, with full adult supervision, teach children the proper use and respect for these things. But everyone can handle them. I love it. I've seen some Hello Kitty AR-15s. And the person behind the trigger knew what the hell they were doing, right? You can get them any color you want, any camel. You can wrap them in whatever you want, folks. Make them look, customize them, whatever. Make your statement or make no statement. But you better understand when it gets really nasty, and it's coming. The UN is now eyeballing the United States of America, eyeballing us. They're salivating over the Second Amendment. They're salivating over the First Amendment. They're salivating over the emergencies here. They're salivating and waiting, folks, for the violence that's coming this summer because of our elections. Oh, and Roe v. Wade. And the United States, with Joe Biden at the helm, may say, we need the United Nations peacekeepers to come in here and help us. I don't think so. But they do, folks. They do think so. They need to recalibrate America, I bet. I mean, what comes next, folks? These people are incredible. They know no bounds. And I want to add this before I get to your questions. We're ready to get to you guys. I hope you've got your questions into Jolene, because I'm ready for it. Another priest, his name is Archbishop Vignano, Vigano. And he said this, folks. He's been on our side over cerveza bug, over the mandates of the Jim Jones juice. And he says this, right? Nation states who hand over their sovereignty to the World Health Organization are, quote, committing a crime, a high crime. Their yielding of sovereignty is considered the high crime of treason. It is the crime of treason. That's what the Archbishop Vignano says to all nations who would sign the World Health Organization treaty. Call your senator. Text your senator. Email, comment, contact your senator with your keyboard, your computer. Whatever it takes, folks, and tell them no, 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 and no. This is our country. It belongs to the people, not a bunch of elected dumbasses to give away. Our Constitution is first. It is number one. And we'll have no law that would try and abridge it, that is, violate our inalienable rights. And yeah, folks, I'm on a horse. I'm on a horse. Time for your questions.
Are you ready?
Woo! Gotta stretch the neck, gotta loosen up a little bit, folks. We got some big trouble. John here, Prepared Mind Network, coming at you from Studio A. Gotta calm down, right? Folks, I know what's right and wrong. You do too. I know what's coming. We've been watching it for years. The idea, get prepared. What do you want to talk about? What's on your mind? Jolene, she's got the questions. We got Opie Waddell checking in, folks, and he says, John, hear me out. Monkeys live in the jungles. Pox causes a fever. So soon you can't say monkeypox without censorship. So now it's jungle fever t-shirt time. Yeah, it is. We got to come up with a way to talk about this. Cerveza bug, you bet. The jungle fever. I like it. I know that was, I think, a movie from sometime in the 80s or something. But yeah, totally a great idea. If I wish you guys knew how much running around and digging and shuffling and moving and lifting and building and everything that I do, right? In addition to the Prepared Mind stuff, I go to bed every night exhausted. I wake up exhausted and ready to go. Still, I love doing the t-shirt thing. I want to do that again. And jungle fever, right? Shit. Get this, folks. This is simply stunning. Wuhan lab was experimenting with the jungle fever last year. They were experimenting with the jungle fever in Wuhan, China last year. This is published, folks. It's a published research report in the International Journal, right? This is not me making stuff up. I don't have to. They're just coming right out and putting it out there. You got your jungle fever? You bet, right? Virologica Sinica is an international journal which aims at presenting the cutting-edge research on viruses all over the world. Yeah, February copy, 2022. Virologica Sinica. See, when you're an egghead and in this business, epidemiology, and you're an expert like Dr. Fraudsty, right? You probably read stuff like Virologica Sinica, right? And they published a recent gain of function, which means the weaponization of research project performed by scientists at the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Now, do I have a way to fact check Virologica Sinica? No, I don't. Can I go over to China and knock on the door and say, hey, let me in. I'm John with the Prepared Mind Network, and we want to do an expose on any criminal behavior that we think we see? No, the answer is no. No, and no. Yeah, they won't let me in. I have no way to confirm this other than what's being reported by the most responsible news sources I can find. And that ain't CNN, Fox, MSNBC, CNBC, NBC, ABC, CBS. Nope, none of them, right? It's real reporters, like the one that was held at gunpoint with an MP5 submachine gun at the World Economic Forum. Yeah. Guys that go out and do real research, I guess. But, it's probably, fake, even though, good golly. Okay, Jolene, who do we have next? And we've got Latin America Preparedness. He's checking in. And folks, like as always, I'm right here and I've got my finger on the pulse. I've got stuff coming in all the time. But Latin American Preparedness, you've got the board. He says the only way we can reach the desired zero carbon is having zero population. I like this first statement. But even with a zero population, plants, vegetation, both in the oceans, in freshwater lakes and rivers, and in the marshes, the plains, the mountains, the valleys, even in the deserts, vegetation will grow. It'll take carbon out of the environment and then release it as methane, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide. Plants, folks, we can never be zero carbon. But I guess they can say the human population making zero carbon. But as long as now, there's a new thing that's come out, and I'll get to the rest of your comment here in a moment, Latin America. The thing that they're making now are carbon digesters. Essentially, they're giant air scrubbers designed to pull air into them, remove the carbon from the air, and expel. Right? They're carbon scrubbers, carbon filters, carbon suckers. Right? They built a giant one already in Iceland. And guess what? It's already broken. Carbon scrubbers. You want some carbon scrubbers? Yeah, why don't you go talk to China about that? It would be great if they had air come into China and it went through their factories and created carbon, then they scrubbed their own carbon. What are you going to do with the carbon? Anyways, that's plant food. Continue with Latin American Preparedness. He says, recently we are witnessing a collapse of our food supply, carbon-based food, a collapse of society, and a collapse of our fuel supply. Thoughts? Well, I've given you some of them already. We're witnessing a collapse of society. We're witnessing a collapse of intelligence, literal loss of intelligence. I mean, do you doubt this? How much stupidity, how much ignorance, how much perversion, how much self-destruction on a personal level, a local government level, a state, the national level, the entire planet is taking the stupid pill, and they've just put it in every orifice they can find, trying to make it work, and it's working. Yeah, we are having a collapse of our food supply. Unbelievable. As discussed during the zoo last night, that there's planes coming back, plane loads of food for infants here in America, baby food formula. 78,000 pounds of imported baby formula are coming to U.S. from Germany. Why does Germany have so much baby food? Why are they making baby food? Why does Germany have so much baby food? Did they make it all and it's just laying around and they're like, hey, America seems to be short. Let's send it to America. Once again, I'm really suspicious of all the missing baby food in America, and it was supposedly shipped to Ukraine, which is right next to Germany, not too far. And now it's coming back to us. I really wonder if it isn't American baby formula, baby food, that's been relabeled, repackaged, and is being shipped back here. It's just, and God bless the Germans for doing this if I'm absolutely wrong in assuming the possibility, because we live in that kind of stupid world, folks, where we're supposed to believe a t-shirt wearing, skinny jeans wearing ding dong is supposedly running one of the world's richest producers of agricultural products, mineral resources, and energy. That this country is absolutely decimated and destroyed, but they still had to bring in NATO to protect it from Russia, who wasn't doing a damn thing to them until they threatened them with nuclear weapons and bases from NATO. It's just an absolute shit show. Unbelievable. Well, here we are, folks. SHTF, right? We know, I know, you know, we all know. Right? Oh, as far as the energy supply, the comment there from Latin American Preparedness. Joe Biden, as discussed in an earlier video today, says it all. Quote, when it comes to gas prices, we're going through incredible transition. God willing, we'll be less reliant on fossil fuels. Right? In the United States, around the world, everyone is going to go, what? Through this incredible transition. He literally said this, but he says, we'll be stronger and the world will be stronger and less reliant on fossil fuels. Really, Joe? How does he know? He can't even say kleptocrat. And I didn't even have a teleprompter to read. He can't even read a teleprompter. He can't put together a coherent sentence. And we're supposed to believe these are his words? Well, these words came out of his mouth, right? Right? They won't allow new drilling permits, folks, because there was a math error. Apparently, reading and writing and arithmetic are not part of the White House. No wonder they don't want it in schools anymore, because Democrats don't need that stuff. Had enough shit at the fan? Have you heard enough? Do you believe me? Are you prepared? Right? Go to the preparedmind.club. It's right down here. There it is. Prepared Mind, select water filtration, water, food, right? Self-defense tools, medications, whatever you need to get on the medications, we don't prescribe and we don't sell. That's other companies. We just make them available for you to find them. Unbelievable, folks. Unbelievable. 12th straight day in a row of record gas prices, higher every single day. No drilling needed. Nope, because we're going to go, right, and minimize. We're going to minimize our reliance on fossil fuels. So we're going to destroy America in the process. Yeah, thanks, Biden. Folks, remember that? It was a great meme when we put out those stickers where he's like pointing. He said, I did this. And people were putting those on gas pumps, pointing at the gas price. They're starting to put $10 a gallon. I'm sorry. Well, it's going to now accommodate $10, but that's actually up to $99. Up to $99.99. That potential is now going on many gas pumps around the country. It is started. You think it's bad now? Wait till you see where this goes. Do you have a bicycle? How about, do you have an electric bicycle in case you need to go miles and miles and miles to work on a bicycle now in America instead of an automobile? Bicycle. How about one of those electric scooters? How about one of those one-wheel things? I've seen people on one-wheel things. It's crazy. It's battery. It's one wheel. I don't know how they don't fall and break their frickin' neck. They're out there. Gasoline scooters, right? 50cc, just like they have in Sri Lanka, Indonesia, the Philippines, throughout the Southeast Asia, every poor country around the world. Go all the way back to the end of World War II through the 50s and 60s, the Vespa, right? The little Italian scooter, meep. That's what they had. I remember seeing advertisements and going over the pictures, an entire Italian family sitting on a scooter. Right? The dad, the mom with the bag of groceries holding the baby on a scooter. Is that where America's going? Because that's all, folks. You're going to need a vehicle that gets 100 miles to the gallon. You're going to need that at $50 a gallon. Can you believe that shit? That's where we're going. That's what they want for us. It's evident. They're saying the words. And I'm preaching to you guys. Not to mention, folks, I bet if you drive a car down the street, probably going to have left-wing lunatics wanting to shoot you because you're, making carbon. Even though we've now been told that lower pollution means more hurricanes for the Caribbean and the United States of America. Oh, great, wonderful. All right, Jolene, who do we have next? I'm kind of lit up, folks. David says this. Get ready, folks. He's gonna hit it out of the park. They have decided on this transition. Funny how everyone's transitioning, whether you cut off your testicles or cut off the country's ability to work. They have decided on this transition, which will lead to a fundamental change, Obama, to the lives of all of us. And there's nothing we can do to stop it. I've been prepping for almost 20 years, says David, but I feel late to realize that I've been prepping to make it through an event when I really need to be preparing for a new way of life. I tell you what, David, they can ruin the American economy. They can destroy our ability to get cheap energy. They can do that, and they are. But that doesn't mean I'm going to give up my rights. I don't have a right to demand that a gas station has gasoline or diesel fuel at a cost I want to pay. I can't make that demand, but I can change the way I live. Yes. Okay, I'm not going to drive a diesel truck 200 miles a day at $100 a gallon gas. I don't have that kind of money. Nobody does, well, except Elon Musk and I guess Jeff Bezos and maybe Zark Zuckerberg. But the point is we're going to have to voluntarily make changes in our lives because we can't stop what they're doing. We can vote, and we should. We can make phone calls, text, prep to action. Right? That's why we're doing this, Dave. And I know you're on the right page. You're on the page with us. We're all on the same page. How do we stop this? We're not going to be able to stop the destruction. That doesn't mean we can't come out of this the other side just as free, if not freer. Just as strong, if not stronger. We're going to have a lower standard of living, though. I'll tell you that. Just like Europe did after World War II. Because we're in a war, folks. Whether you call it a Cold War or World War III or an SHTF war, a globalist war against freedom, no matter what you call it, that's what's happening. We're going into an economic destruction period. They're trying to change the way we view energy, the right to travel, the right to be free, the ability to go on vacation, to do what you want. They want you to wear a mask. They want you to go get the mandated Jim Jones juice. They want you to do this. They want you to do that. They want you to feel guilty. They want you to pay money. They want you to shut up. See, that's why they need us to shut up, Dave, is because we're talking about it and people are waking up and they want everyone to be silent. No opposing our changes. They want to fundamentally change us, and there's no opposing that. Oppose it, folks. The more we oppose them now, and I'm glad you've been prepping for 20 plus years, Dave. The more we oppose them now, the better chances we'll have of winning this and retaining our rights, our freedoms and liberties, and restoring what standard of living we once had. There's going to be serious pain and suffering. And I've talked about this in the past. We're going to get through this. How many people are going to die because of complications from the Jim Jones juice? Number one. Number two, the juice booster. Monkeypox, jungle fever booster, right? They're going to keep pushing this trash on us. People are going to die. There's going to be a purge. There's going to be, and I'm not recommending it, glamorizing it, or anything else. I don't have to. It's being done by the political leftists, the violence that's coming. The violence that's coming, folks. They're doing this to us. They're forcing us into this, where you either politically fight back or you are going to be suffering like you're in a third world country. Whoa, man, I'm hot under the frickin' collar today. And we need to be, folks. Not mad, not outraged and doing stupid, violent things. That's the political left. Being intelligent and smart and taking action that will put us in the proper position. Being correct, intelligently, ethically, morally, right? Having common sense, critical thinking on our side. You can't have the world we have without energy. And where's this energy coming from? Yeah, I think solar and wind are just beautiful things, but it's not enough, and it can't be enough. It'll never be enough. So we're going to need something else. They better produce it. They're going to try killing oil as far and as wide as they can. I remember those commercials. Natural gas. It's clean, and they had a little blue flame. Apparently it's not clean enough anymore. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Okay, what do we got next, Jolene? Let's see. We got Bonnie Blue 2A checking in. Question: is the Z demand for $5 billion a month, the reopening of the U.S. Embassy in Kiev, and the pause of the Board of Disinformation all a coincidence, or do the dots connect between them all? Okay, let's look at these things one piece at a time. Now, Nina Jankowicz, the self-professed hoe who would do anything hoish in order to get power and position in the government with money and prestige and all, right? She's out of the Disinformation Board, the Disinformation Governance Board, the Ministry of Truth. And instead, they slide in Chertoff, a sleazy, slimy attorney who brought us full-body porn scanners so that disreputable people can be TSA and be staring at our nipples and genitalia. That's what they're good for, folks. That's what they're good for. Yeah, Chertoff is now going to get into the disinformation business. I wonder what computer systems and hardware and software his analyst company has actually already made and is waiting to distribute to servers around the world to interrupt our free speech, you know, disinformation. Yeah, so they're supposedly paused, which means it's going to be quiet until it's time for them to not be quiet. The reopening of the U.S. Embassy in Kiev. They've actually said they're thinking of sending American diplomats into Kiev, folks. Really? You think that's a good move? They just lost Mariupol, the Ukrainians. Russians are there to win this. They're not there on a holiday. They're not like, hey, let's invade a country and it'll be like vacation. Nope, that's not what that's about. And they're thinking, folks, get this, of sending U.S. special forces into the U.S. Embassy. Now, who has a right to allow a U.S. embassy to be there? Well, both the U.S. government and the Ukraine government, who I guess is Zelensky. If you were an American ambassador, a diplomat, a federal employee, would you want to be in a U.S. embassy in a war zone? This smells incredibly dangerous. You see, I'm not worried about the U.S. special forces that would be there, but they would be sitting ducks. Where are the U.S. special forces? Right? The Army, the Marines, the Navy, the SEALs, recon, sniper teams, right? Green Beret. Where are they best suited to operate very quietly and stealthily without knowledge, right? The enemy not having knowledge about where they're at. So they're basically sitting ducks, sitting in an embassy. Special forces or not, they know where you're at now. Would Russia bomb the U.S. embassy in Kiev? In my opinion, that would be the stupidest thing for them to do. To just waylay and kill everyone there. I don't believe that Russia, I don't care how lunatic you think Putin is, he's not retarded. It would smell to me that that is an incredible false flag setup. We sent in our politicians. Right? Zelensky wants $5 billion a month from the world, which means from the U.S. Literally, that's exactly what it means, folks. I mean, the U.S. is NATO's muscle, well, along with Turkey, number 2. The U.S. is everyone's muscle. That is exactly, folks, what has propped up the U.S. dollar as the world reserve currency. That is what has propped up the dollar, folks, and held it there. The protection of the oil-producing countries, OPEC, the Middle East, which are now allied with China and Russia, by the way, more so all the time. We're now allied with them. We're going to the 1984 book, folks. The North American continent is one area, China, the Sino-Asia area, and then Europe, right? You get the Sino-Russian compact. We're all going to be at war with each other. This is ridiculous. It's stupid, yet they're doing it. It's all tied together. As soon as they need to silence us, folks, there will be a ministry of truth, aka 1984 dystopian nightmare totalitarian government. There'll be no dissension, no opinion other than what comes from the state. You know, Biden, Chertoff, Nancy Pants. They're talking head mouthpieces on TV, like the girls on The View. Like we can trust them to give us exactly what we need to know, the opinions. That's all they do is give out their opinions, folks. I put out satire, and you guys get to choose for yourselves. If you're here, it's probably because you agree with me mostly, and we don't have to agree 100%, but to understand we need to be prepared. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. You bet. That's what I think we can agree on. Being free, that's a good damn thing. All of a sudden, being free is not good. Sorry, folks. I was glad to see that it was Louisiana the other day that said, yeah, it's about freedom after all. That is what America's about. Good. Heidi checks in. Heidi, and says, if a bomb was dropped in the middle of a fracking operation, would it cause everything to burn? Would it be worse than if there weren't any oil wells? Would it roast people in tunnels nearby? Is that why they're letting it lapse? How do I go about this? The natural gas and the fracking, if they were to drop conventional bombs on them or nuclear bombs, it just destroys all the infrastructure. Could we have out of control natural gas or fracking wells? Well, only if they're pressurized and that pressure is pushing the flames out. Now, interestingly, and I guess I'll touch on this, over in the Mediterranean, I believe there's a Greek island or a Turkish island where there is literally cracks in the ground that flames shoot out of, because there is natural gas seeping up through the ground, and it is ignited by subterranean heat sources. And I think that after burning for millennia, those heat sources have just continued to stay lit. And that gas every now and then just belches flames out. Some of them burn very small, but that could happen. Our natural gas wells in this country, where there's a hole drilled, pipes are put down there to collect the gas and then pump it up and send it out through a pipeline. If those get hit, yeah, it can cause a problem. But every country that is producing its own energy has that. I'm more worried about our idiotic government causing a nuclear bomb to kill millions of people than another country bombing us with nuclear bombs and trying to take out our oil fields. The reason I say that is the oil fields are really spread far and wide, right? You could have a bunch of them, say, in Texas, right? There's a lot of fracking in Texas. They're close, but they're far apart. I mean, how far apart? But our energy and the collection of it is spread out across all of America. but we can be crippled pretty fast. We really can. It would be probably cheaper and easier for a foreign enemy, or maybe a domestic enemy using foreign agents, to commit individual acts of terror at strategic locations, affecting the power grid, affecting the pipelines. That it would be oil, fuel, natural gas pipeline system, our internet infrastructure, communications infrastructure. They could hit various sectors. They could hit water supply systems and use acts of incredible violence, right? Bombs. They could do that. It wouldn't be hard to plan. And they could cause serious disruption in this country that would cause big problem. Now, again, I'll say this. I don't think the powers that be, the World Economic Forum, I don't think they want this entire country just singed and burned to the ground. Every city, every house, every apartment building, every business burned. That's wealth. That's infrastructure. That is human energy contained in a building, the roads, the bridges. They don't want it all destroyed. They don't like us, but they don't want all of the goodies that have been made destroyed. But as noted earlier, the fewer humans there are, the less carbon that is created, right, by us. So what exactly is their plan? How far are they willing to go? It's a big, big question to ask. We're going to find out. And while prepping won't stop these people from doing what they're doing, being prepared will protect you, us, our groups, our families, our communities. Being prepared will protect us from the danger and the suffering to the extent we're prepared and well planned, because chance favors the prepared mind. God bless America. People better wake the hell up. I know you're awake. Help other people wake up, folks. That's what the share button is about. That's why I say give it a thumbs up. And I think pretty soon we're going to see some explosive growth on YouTube again. It'll be because of you, so get ready for it. Right? This message we're going to continue to carry. We've got some information that would suggest that this channel is going to start growing again. Does it have anything to do with Elon Musk and social media? Well, if it takes off, that is a part of it. There's some other things going on with regard to online cartels, social media giants and their control. Let's hope that this move in this direction continues. We're in a war, folks. We're in a war for our country and our lives. You just don't hear guns and bombs going off, but we also are fighting for our lives. Get prepared. Godspeed. Semper Fi.